Hello there and welcome into this special edition of the SAU Women's Basketball Coaches Show. I'm Daniel Gallegos, joined alongside head women's basketball coach Rusty Rainbolt. And Coach, we're here to preview the upcoming season. I think it's a season that is definitely anticipated, with the arrival of you and kind of a new era in SAU women's basketball. So that's been a big part of the excitement. But then there's also, with that, comes a few unknowns. Only 3 returners from last year's team. You bring in a lot of new players, all of them with college basketball experience. Talk a little bit about how that's been so far through practice.
Well, it's been interesting. It definitely has. Anytime you have a whole new program, you have 9 new players to a team and new staff, it's going to be a transition. And that's kind of what we've gone through, is just change, transition. But it's been good. The players that we have worked very hard. They're excited about the opportunity to step on the court and play a game that matters and it'll count, because they want to definitely get the history of SAU basketball going in the right direction. But just getting culture built up is probably the hardest thing, in my opinion, and that's what we're working on every day.
Yeah, we mentioned you have 3 returners. 2 of them are starters, and Stevie Cooper and Catherine McBride. You also have Ashley Riggles back, who played some significant minutes last year. Talking about the change of culture, those 3 obviously are returners. Has it been difficult to get them to buy into your new system and your new culture?
It hasn't one bit. Actually, I was talking with Coach Browning, our athletic director, yesterday about that, just the team as a whole. And those 3 young ladies have been phenomenal just in their work ethic, their willingness to jump in head first to a new program, a new coaching staff, and buy in without any hesitations or reservations. And so those 3 have been great in terms of helping the culture build at a faster pace. And then that was important. With all the young ladies that we evaluated that were here before me, we wanted to make sure that we got young ladies that would be willing and able to help us win games, but help us build a family atmosphere and buy into everything that we're trying to implement here. And they've been great. All 3 of them are very high character young ladies, which is nice. They understand family and what that means to be a part of a family. They have really bought into their roles, which is nice, because Catherine and Stevie being starters, now everything changes. Not that they're not going to be starters, but they have to compete every single day just like everybody else does. And so, and Riggles is one of our best shooters on the team. So we're just trying to get everybody on our team to understand, here's what your role and your expectation is, and just do it to the best of your ability every day. And don't worry about your minutes, or am I a starter, am I coming off the bench. Just do what you do well and let the rest of it take care of itself.
This upcoming year, it's going to be an interesting mix. Last year, Southern Arkansas was one of the youngest teams in the conference. A lot of freshmen and sophomores, not many upperclassmen in that mix. You coming in, as we said, all of them have college basketball experience. All of a sudden, you go from one of the youngest teams in the conference to now a very experienced team, although not within this conference. But you got a lot of juniors, the 1 senior and Stevie. Do you think that dynamic will help kind of facilitate a quicker turnaround for this program?
I do. It'll probably help more than anything off the court than it will on the court, honestly, because a freshman coming in that's never been away from mom and dad, that are a change of academic status, that now they're eating different food and they're having a lot of free time, but they're not having a lot of free time, and just that whole transition for freshmen is challenging in itself. The thing that's probably helped us, again, is that every young lady we have has been through this process of understanding how hard you have to work, the amount of time you have to put in, sitting in there and watching film and going to class and going to study halls, and just everything that it entails. That transition has been easier as a group for them because they are experienced. But when we get on the court, it does definitely help, because again, all of our girls have played at a high level at wherever they came from. Again, just building a culture of family where they can understand, hey, I have to fill my role, whatever it is, because every girl on this team, their roles have changed from where they come from, or from where the girls that were here. So that's a hard thing, is just fitting and finding how you fit and what you do well according to what we need. But the age and the experience is definitely a blessing.
You haven't been shy of kind of not being afraid to go against tough competition. That's evident in your scheduling this year. At the very beginning of the year, you're starting off with Northwestern State out of Louisiana. They're Division I. They play out of the Southland Conference. Typically, that would be an exhibition game, for most people on their schedule, but it's an actual game for you. Talk a little bit about the decision behind that, of not making an exhibition game and going right out of the gate and taking on some tough competition.
Yeah, well, we want to be a championship caliber team, and everybody says that. but most coaches will try to schedule people that they know they can beat. Believe me, I'd love to win games. You know, that'll help with your keeping your job. But we want to win, and the only way to win at a high level is to compete at a high level and see where you're at. You know, we played an exhibition against TCU the other day, which was a great opportunity for our kids to go on the road, play in a Big 12 environment, and they competed super well with 13 minutes into the game, we had the lead. So it helped us understand that, hey, we can play at a high level, but we have to sustain that better, which is what we saw in the second half of this exhibition against TCU. But that's what we needed. And we had Louisiana Tech on the schedule, and they ended up backing out on us. And we have Northwestern State coming up, which is going to be a very difficult challenge going on the road in a Division I environment against a very good coaching staff and a good team. And so we want to find out who we are. I tell our kids all the time, we can't be fool's gold thinking we have something that we don't. And the only way to know that is to put ourselves in the fire and see how we come out. So it's a good league that we're in the GAC. There's some very, very good teams, some great coaches. And so we have to be prepared 2 weeks from now to beat Northwestern, Oklahoma State, and Southwestern, and the only way to do that is to throw ourselves in the fire right away. And so I wanted our kids to understand, hey, this is what the level of competition is going to look like, and we've got to play up to it every night. And the only way to do that, you can't simulate it in practice, and you can't simulate it by scheduling bad teams. So we wanted to see where we're at right away.
Yeah, I think one of the things that people are going to be very interested to see is how those newcomers come together on the court. A lot of new faces. You got 9 that will be suiting up. A couple of them will be redshirting this year. What have you seen out of those newcomers that you like the most and that you're looking forward to as far as how they can contribute to the team this season?
The first thing is definitely the fact that they're talented. I'm a big believer that players win games and players lose games. I think coaches get way too much credit when you win and way too much blame when you lost. I really do. I just think if you have better talent than the other team, it gives you a chance to win. And so that's what we like about our team is we are still very deficient in some areas, but as a whole, we have good athleticism, we have good size, and we have some kids that are talented enough to put the ball in the hole and guard the best players that can put the ball in the hole. And that's what I like about this group from a tangible standpoint. But honestly, you know, our motto is family. And I love being around our players because they're sweet young ladies. They have high character. They're fun to be around. And everybody will say that, but our office is, you walk by, there's players in there all the time, and it gets way too loud, and we're laughing and joking, and it's fun to be around them every day. And that's what we really believe, that if we can get talented players to come in and be a family, then we can be successful. And that's what the 9 newcomers have brought, and the 2 redshirts, and then the 3 returners that are here, they all have bought into, you know, again, my role's changed. I don't get as many shots, I don't get as many minutes, but it's because it's what's best for the family. And we say that a lot, that you may not like the role you're in, but it's what our family needs to be successful. And so all of the girls buy into that. That doesn't mean they're not competitive and they want a better role, but they've got to go out and earn it, and they're all willing to do that. So that's what's been nice. It's just we have a talented group, which gives us a chance to be successful, but that they're not a bunch of knuckleheads. It's not fun to be around every day. So.
Well, we thank you very much for your time. Again, this was the women's basketball season preview. The women's basketball team will kick off their season this Friday at Northwestern State in Louisiana. Tip-off scheduled for 5:30 p.m. You can check neilriderathletics.com for all your live links and the recap following. Coach, thank you very much for your time once more, and best of luck this season.
Thank you.